What's up, guys? So, I've got a pretty interesting series for you today. I'm going to be starting off with the top 8 profiles from the Sanctum Squad Winter Regional. It was a pretty awesome event. I had a lot of decks on the field there, and this is one of the top 8 profiles. So, this is going to be. Who am I talking to today?
It's Matthew Price.
Matthew Price, and I think you can see it on the screen, but tell us all at home, what were you playing? Is it Deception, or were you really playing this deck?
No, we're still on it. Still on the Altergeist train.
Altergeist. So how well did you do, dude?
Ended up making 7th place on tiebreakers. I would have liked to have done better. Went 4-2 in the end.
Solid. That's pretty good. That's pretty
double
good.
silk is like that.
Yeah, I was next to you for last round, and I saw it was it was quite rough. It was quite just a shame because I think you would have probably been top 4 actually, but still, getting 7th place of it is still awesome as well. You did a really good job. So without further ado, let's get into your build, bro.
We'll just run through the main deck real quick. A lot of the main deck's going to be self-explanatory. Example, the Altergeist ratios. We've got 3 Marionetta, 3 Multi-Faker, and 3 Maluseek. Obviously, these are the best 3. You want to see them. I have fell out with this card.
Oh, wow.
It keeps appearing in my hand when it shouldn't. But yeah, you need to play 2, really. 1's just not feasible. Else I would. And then Conquieri. This is the worst card in the deck.
Okay.
Yeah, it's there. You need to play it. It's very useful. You just don't really want to see it in the opener. Again, this is all pretty standard Altergeist ratios as far as it's concerned. And then the only monster hand trap in this deck is 3 Ash. It is a regional, so there's going to be a lot of rogue. I didn't play a single Tri Brigade or Drytron the entire event. I did only just learn today that there was only 2 Drytron.
Yeah.
But it's the best for a most generic field.
Okay, but then you didn't find that you missed any of our monster hand traps then?
No, not really. You'll see a couple in the side deck when we get to it. But it's just Ash is there to sort of not necessarily stop the board from happening, but stop the board from getting to a point where it's unbreakable. And then the rest of your traps do the rest, pretty much.
Okay, that makes sense.
And then the spells, obviously 3 Extravagance. There's the argument of Extravagance over Prosperity. You need the card advantage in this deck, ideally. Seeing 1 specific card can be nice if it's like a judgment, but otherwise the advantage is just so much better. And then the 1 duality. It's more so just a little bit of consistency, which this deck does lack sometimes. I'm thinking of bumping it up to maybe 2. I know my mate Jacob was on 3.
Wow.
But yeah, gonna have to try that out. But for now, this seemed quite well.
Okay.
And then the trap cards. So we'll start with the engine traps. We have 2 protocol, 1 manifestation. This is pretty standard, nothing too special. Would never play a second of this. Just not necessary. And 3 of the best non-Altergeist trap. That's all spoofing.
Spoofing. That trap gives you nightmares, man.
This card,
yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Crazy. And for the last sort of hand trap that's actually a trapping for the opponents, it's Geist.
Yeah.
Self-explanatory, really.
How many times did you resolve the Imperm Multi-Faker combo?
Once.
Oh, just once.
I have this thing where it, in theory, only happens once per event, and that theory's held up so far. So, yeah, happened against Phantom Knights, and I think it was round 4. It was really good.
Oh, yeah, I can imagine.
And the rest of the traps are all 3 elves from here. 3 Torrential Tribute, 3 Rivalry. These are your sort of blowout traps, going first or second. This just breaks the meta.
Actually, yeah. So in terms of that's actually really interesting because in terms of the kind of main deck 3 rivalry, so did you not find it ever came up dead or anything, or was it just a case of it's good enough against pretty much everything that you can get away with running it?
You can get away with it. It is good against almost every viable deck in the room. It did come out going second against Phantom Knights because they ended a lot of warriors. And it came out against Atignista in round 2. But besides that, it does just sort of murder everything in the room.
You know what you're saying?
Especially going second. And if you pair it with Solemn Strike right here, it's...
That makes sense. So it's kind of the same as Torrential, isn't it? Yeah.
And then lastly, I decided to main deck the Judgments.
Ooh, yeah.
I think it's a slow enough format to where this is viable. Even going second, it's fine because besides Drytron, people don't end on boards that can just go battle phase and kill you. So you can just hit access code hit or sword hit, whatever.
Makes sense. Okay, wow. Big trap lineup, making sense.
Yeah,
So
huge trap lineup.
Standard for Altergeist.
Yeah, the theory is if you don't see your engine, which does happen sometimes, your traps will buy you the turns you need.
And how consistent were you finding it? Like, how out of your games, how many were you bricking, how many were you not?
They're generally you'll see you brick once every, I don't know, maybe 6-7 matches, which is about normal. This event was a bit more than normal, but that was just unfortunate luck.
Okay.
The only way that you can really brick in the deck is if you open too many Geist monsters, which theoretically shouldn't happen, but it does.
Yeah, I mean, you're playing a pretty small Geist monster count, aren't you?
Yeah, it's just... I think it's 11 or 12 monsters now.
Yeah.
With Faker being at 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you said, you saw in the last round, it was just 5 Geist monsters. Just like, couldn't do anything about that.
Can't do much of them if they're in your hand.
Right, do you want to move on to the extra deck?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Awesome. So we have 3 Link Revo.
Okay.
This is just the most generic Link 1. Artemis is expensive. So this is the replacement for now. The only reason you play Artemis over this is because of Rivalry. But there's a way to get around that with Relinquished Anima.
I see.
Which is a spellcaster in itself. Yet people don't respect this card. I learned that on Saturday.
Yeah. I think people just forget about it as well, innit? It's like,
people just forget. It's the last thing on their mind.
Literally. And then suddenly you've lost the card for free just because you put it in the wrong column.
Exactly. This helps out the tri-board with just a single Melusi. Or it forces the Revolt. Because it baits out all 3 Appaloosa negates. And then you can just fake
Oh, wow. Flipping it.
Yeah, because you go attack directly.
Yeah.
Effect and the Appaloosa, then negate that. That's the first. Link it off, they'll negate Melusi Grave, and then you have to negate the Anima.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's really big value.
It's really useful. And then, of course, I did manage to borrow an Artemis. Shout out to Liam from the Sanctum Squad.
Oh, awesome.
Really nice of him let me borrow it. It came up. I did banish my Anima off extra, so I had to make it. But yeah, 5 Link 1s is more than enough, generally.
Yeah, solid.
Then it wouldn't be Geist without 3 copies of Hextier. If you make this, you win, pretty much.
Okay. Did you find yourself going into it all the time then? So is this kind of like a primary win con for you to getting into it?
If you're able to get into it, it shows that you're in a really good enough position to win the game anyway. But in certain matchups like Dogma Invoke Shaddoll, which actually turned out to be the most popular deck in the room, which I didn't realise.
Yeah.
You can't really shotgun this because it makes Shaddoll Fusion live. And that's like a game ender, especially with Meltdown.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, if you can make this in almost any other matchup, it just gets you so much advantage.
That makes sense.
Yeah, this is generally the thing that you go for. And then something that a lot of people are starting to not play is Prime Banshee.
Oh, Prime Banshee. So this one I'm not as familiar with it. What does this one do again?
So it's on field effect, which is almost never relevant. You can tribute an Altergeist next to its link to summon an Altergeist from your deck next to its link.
Okay.
And that's a quick effect.
Wow, okay.
I've used that effect like once ever. Just to summon a Silk from the deck when I was out of Fakers. but its main use comes from when it's linked off. You can add back any Altergeist from your graveyard. So you can end up going for a combo with, if you've got extra Geists on field, you can go Hextier and something into Prime Banshee, search off the Hextier, then link the Prime Banshee into another Hextier.
Okay, that's flipping nutty.
So it's a lot of recursion, and this makes Hextier like deceptively big.
Yeah, I mean, what was the attack on that again, on Prime Banshee?
21.
21, wow. So you're going to be hitting, what is
that? The
that?
Hextier up to 36.
Yeah, that's fucking huge.
Which is crazy. But yeah, it's just nice recursion. Then again, anything past the Hextiers at this point in the extra deck just doesn't matter. You hardly ever go into anything.
Yeah, makes sense.
I'll show you now, there's only, 6 cards left. Generally, you'll play 2 Selene, 2 Access Code.
Yeah.
Obviously, they cost money, so that's not happening. So I just decided to fill it with utility. So we have Phoenix and Unicorn.
Okay.
Obviously, the most generic nightmares. Ningirsu, this is kind of necessary.
Yeah.
Obviously, Dragoon sucks. We don't like Dragoon, so
yeah.
This is our answer to Dragoon. If we if it's game 1, we have side deck answers to it. But yeah, this is our main answer. It's also possible to add Dragoon with, like, if you make Hextier big enough and you have a strike to stop the Dragoon negate, you can attack over it, but it's not reliable. And then the big link 4s, the boss monsters, we have Unchained Abomination.
Okay.
I've never made it.
Yeah.
Borrelode Dragon.
Ooh,
in theory,
MAG.
it's nice. I really do like it. Again, I've never summoned it, which is unfortunate. And then Borrelsword. I've made Borrelsword like twice. Once to out an Ultimate Falcon, believe it or not.
You gotta have it.
You gotta have it. Don't be caught without it, is what I'm saying. But yeah, they're there just in case, you know.
Pretty standard. Okay, and what was the side deck saying as well?
The side deck, this is where things get a little bit spicy.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm on my toes.
Yeah. You'll see some similarities with other Geist lists, but as you'll see later, I'm very scared of Drytron.
Yeah.
It's the only matchup that this deck really falls to. If you lose the die roll, you can generally the Try matchup's free. You can break Virtual Order Phantom Knights going second, but Drytron is something else.
It's a bit of a mad one.
So I'm playing 3 Godala. I would. I'm not sure if I'd play Gamma Seal over this if I had it. Just from the pure fear that Wind Statue exists.
Yeah, and next format that's definitely going to be a thing with the new Lyrilla support. So,
yes,
yeah.
And Flunderies as well.
Flunder Patrol.
Are all playing Statue.
Yeah.
So this will probably keep being Godala moving forward. But again, this is your answer to any towers like monster. It took me, I kid you not, like 10-15 turns to dig for this against Atticus to out the arrival.
Flipping heck. Gosh.
It's a miracle I survived that long. Yeah. And against the Drytron board, they have Ultimatus Dragoon. Kaiju the Dragoon. I think you let your trap cards deal with the Ultimatus.
That makes sense, yeah.
Because you can't deal with them both at the same time, which is unfortunate. And this will just show you how scared I am of Drytron. I am playing the Recycle Reader.
Yeah, of course.
In theory, Droll would be more generic, but for Droll, I feel like you need to be able to apply pressure, and that's not something this deck can really do easily. So you just want to take away their resources instantly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it also overlaps quite nicely with the Eldritch matchup, which it's not that difficult in hindsight for this deck. The grind game's quite intense. But if they're playing the stun version of Eldritch, it's very hard. You can't outborder Gozen really easily, and just get rid of their Lord you win.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'd never actually sided this in because I didn't play against any of them.
Yeah, it was weird. Only 2 Drytron at that event because I also prepared heavily for it as well.
Yeah. It's just the fear of Drytron existing.
Yeah, you have to respect it because if you don't, they just win for free.
You don't want to be caught without it, pretty much. Then 2 Ghost Bolt. this will probably seem a little bit out of place, but the theory is it's there for Dogma Invoke Shaddoll, which again is one of the more tricky matchups. You've got your Asher and Perms, you just need the extra interruption for that.
That makes sense.
Mainly, this is for Tri Brigade. The theory being that if game 1 they know you're on Geist, let's say you went first or you lost or something, you side this in, they won't make the Appaloosa board against you. They'll go for Rugel Double Dragon Lords.
Of course, yeah.
So the Bellon Revolt is live.
That makes sense.
Whereas in game 1 it wouldn't be.
Yeah, that's actually really smart. That's big brain because, of course, they're just going to think your protocol is going to protect your monsters anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's
like if you go second and just step 5, like what are they going to do?
Yeah.
And then the rest of the side deck is semi-standard. This overperformed.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
People have been complaining a lot about Imperial Order. I feel like they forgot about how busted this card is and that it exists.
Imperial Order, like I still think should go. I don't buy it, but it's still kind of silly.
It's a very silly card, but I mean.
But this card is also very silly.
This card's
the only difference being that they can just beat over your normal summon.
That is true.
But I had against Altergeist in game 2, it was a case where he actually opened 5 spells, and I didn't really have much. I had Secret Village and a Silk with nothing to bounce, and it just stuck.
Gosh.
Because he just had all spells.
Flippin' heck.
Yeah, this card overperforms, except when you don't draw a normal summon. Which happens.
I can imagine that would be sucky.
It happened to me twice.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, it was terrible. And then obviously it wouldn't be Altergeist without evenly matched.
Yeah, of course. And this is another big one. Did you resolve the evenly into Faker?
Didn't resolve the evenly into Faker, unfortunately. I had it.
Yeah. But
the evenly got negated by Toad. It was against Ewan in round 1, actually.
Pranks. Okay.
Against Prankits, he cross-outed my Imperm on the Toad.
Gosh.
And then he took my evenly with the Toad.
Oh my gosh.
He actually resolved it against me for 1 card. Wow. Which was hilarious.
Wow.
But yeah, evenly it destroys all the boards.
Yeah.
That's not Drytron.
Yeah. At the moment, it's very good. Not a lot of people are fielding hard negates at the moment, so just having a card that swings advantage like that is just huge.
Yeah.
But yeah. So what would you say then in general about the list? How did you feel about it? Do you feel like it appropriately dealt with the meta? Anything you would change up?
I think it performed quite well. I'd say every game that I had a playable hand, I did win. Besides the 1 game against Connor, shout outs to Connor, really good guy. I did misplay. I didn't use Faker in the standby phase. Caught me off guard with Orcuds.
Oh no.
But yeah, it was just unfortunate. I bricked a little bit more than the deck should, but I'm still happy with the finish. The deck performed quite well.
No, that's pretty solid, and yeah, you definitely. I remember seeing you on the feature match at one point. So yeah, you definitely did pull out some pretty good results. But yeah, then I guess, do you have any shout outs for anyone?
I do, yeah. Shout outs to obviously the Birmingham lot. Everyone's great. I think most of us actually ended up going to the regional.
Pretty much, yeah.
It was a really good vibe. They're all really nice. And then shout outs to the Bobs boys. Really good mates they are. Help prep this deck for me.
Solid. Cool, awesome. Well, thank you, Matt. Yeah, really good job on your top 8, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot more of you with more profiles. I know you got a lot of interesting decks as well. So yeah, and thank you all guys for watching. I'll make sure to have the rest of those top 8 profiles out for you soon. Peace.